How do plants in Plants vs Zombies work? What options do you have in case of a zombie apocalypse if you only have a garden and a good attitude? Since the vast majority of the plants are based on real plants, as you can clearly see. I doubt very much that you believe me if I tell you that surprisingly, there are several real plants that share some of the abilities of the plants in the game. But just to be clear, we will only base ourselves on the plants of the first and second game, given that the plants in Garden Warfare can move freely. But until this day, the Earth patch hasn't allowed plants to walk around. Maybe in the next update. Can't wait. Also ignoring how the hell they have eyes, or why in the game descriptions many seem to have illustrious careers, entire lives beyond Plants vs Zombies. You know, the kinda crazy lore that dads always have before we were born. So basically we're going to focus on explaining how would each of these plants work in real life, starting with the most famous and important plant, the pea shooter, who's got more relatives than the Cletus family. For example, the repeater, the snow pea, the pea pot of Plants vs Zombies 2, and all the variants that have each one of these. All these plants are based on the AK-47. They are based on the plant called Pison sativum, which is grown for its eatable seeds, known as peas. The thing is, this plant doesn't shoot its peas, and they don't even look that similar. One of the characteristics of the pea plant is that these peas are in pods, and guess what? There are plants that shoot their seeds from its pods. Depending the place in the world, this plant receives different names. YouTube will show it as the explosive seed pods. It shoots its seeds at a fairly long distance, at a speed of around 30 km per hour, or 18 miles per hour for the wise Americans out there. This mechanism is activated by the heat of the sun that melts the resin inside the pot, and the released tension shoots the seed several meters away. If it seems like I know what I'm talking about, it's because I found the information on the internet. It is not that I have any type of illicit cultivation, I swear. This method is repeated by different plants with different degrees of effectiveness.
Exploding plants that will blow your mind.
There are several orchid trees that have large pods that can shoot their seeds at about 15 meters. The Mexican petunia can shoot their seeds at a short distance. We also have some savas with the same mechanism. And finally, several violets and their relatives.
Blue flower, red thorns, blue flower, red thorns, blue flower, red thorns.
Can these plants save you from the zombies? Probably not. But I have other good options that you definitely should not try. The squirting cucumber, which the seeds and the fluids shoot out. This doesn't sound like biology anymore. It shoots its poisonous fruit at a speed of almost 100 km per hour, or 62 miles per hour, using the pressure of water to reach that impressive speed. So, it seems that the most plausible thing is that the pea shooters do not shoot seeds, but instead they squirt. Or a method very similar to the used by the squirting cucumber.
Head first going.
We also have mushrooms in Plants vs Zombies, which do not shoot neither fruits nor seeds. They shoot spores. This is based on the already known fact that fungi reproduce by releasing their spores in nature. I mean, you can say that they shoot them. Not quite like the game though. Now in this shit, we can find something that can be useful. Wow, this video is being a bit strange. But hear me out. The Pilobulus fungus grow on the stem of herbivorous animals. They're extremely tiny, but the impressive thing is that they pull greater acceleration than a shotgun. By the way, I know some dudes that get high with mushrooms grown in shit. You degenerates! To be able to take advantage of that power on a large scale, you would need to genetically modify a fungus, so that the spores shoot out of a specific part of the fungus. I don't know, it sounds kinda difficult. But something that we already have in nature is
exploding mushrooms.
Kinda. The puffball produce their spores internally, and they do not release them like many other fungi, rather keep them inside until they're opened from the outside. They dry and fracture, or, in specific cases, they explode. It is normal for them to fracture or for someone to step on them. However, the explosion won't blow your leg off. Sadly, the explosive plants in Plants vs Zombies are the potato mine, the cherry bomb, and the jalapeno. In real life, none of those explode, so yeah, it's kinda complicated to find the logic behind it. So maybe Dave just put explosive into his plants. Sweet. Nevertheless, in nature we can find some plants that explode, a little more extreme than the one that shoot their seeds from their pods. Sandbox tree, also known as the exploding fruit tree or the dynamite tree, because of the loud noise it makes when its fruit explodes, and it is a pretty aggressive explosion. The cactus, aka chicken's biggest enemy. Although in reality a cactus cannot kill a chicken in the distance because they don't shoot thorns, that's common knowledge, right? Well, there are stories on the internet of cactus that shoot their thorns randomly, with some even saying that they use it as a defense mechanism against animals or other plants. This hasn't been confirmed, but there are a good amount of stories talking about this. So, who knows? You gotta keep in mind that not everything on the internet should be taken seriously though. The next plant on the list is the carnivorous plant. It is clearly based on the Venus flytraps, which is one of the most well-known carnivorous plants.
Woo, a hot dog!
Insects are attracted to the traps on its leaves, but the bright color and nectar secreted by the plant. The Venus flytrap has some sensitive hairs that, upon contact with an insect, cause the leaf to rapidly react. The teeth are placed to prevent the escape of the prey. In case the prey seems to be large, the plant has to close its trap hermetically before beginning to digest it. Once it is closed, it starts digestion, and it could take 7 to 10 days to fully digest the victim. Wow, at this point I'm like a professor, teaching you all of this. So you must refer to me as professor, you understand? I would say these are the only plants that we can cover in a realistic environment, because the game has really absurd plants, like the Infinite, which is Citron, boy looking all stylish but he spits plasma balls. We have plants that are nothing more than a catapult, and we even got the imitator, a mine potato that imitates any other plant. We have plants that shoot fire, some that shoot ice, and we even got this one that looks like an anime cat, and it's called Cactail. Although we managed to explain some of them, as you can see most of them simply do not make sense in the real world. But, funny enough, inside the game there is an answer. You see, something very curious is that despite the fact that the game is not very consistent in certain aspects, there is a congruence regarding the powers of the plants. If you read the description of the intensive carrot, you will see how it tells you that to revive defeated plants it uses vitamins. Vitamins and sorcery. The description of the witch Hazel tells us that he uses magical spells to transform zombies into mushrooms, and the description of the planter tells us it eats darkness and it creates light, using the always handy sorcery and dark forces. Sweet. It is an easy and not so logical explanation, but we have a lot of evidence that in reality plants usually have a magical background. In Garden Warfare we see Rose, a sorceress who comes from the past. In the Dark Ages zombies use magic. So it is a factual statement to say that in this universe, magic exists. So our answer is biology and witchcraft. Yay! But what is the origin of the plants in the game? Who created them? To discover these and even more, check out this video, where I seek answers inside the game. And if you know anything about sorcery, please teach us in the comments. Thanks for watching.